Hey guys, lots of spicy vibes we have going on to start this week. We have the moon in Aries making a trine to Mars in Leo. This is like firepower. People could be really fired up. This is like motivation and ambition and sort of like ego that is driving our actions, moving ahead, wanting to do something, make something happen, pursue something, specifically in regards to like the future, perhaps, what we're growing, what we're creating, what we're becoming now, really wanting to move in this new direction. However, as we move through this week, we are going to hit sort of like a wall, perhaps. We've got Saturn influence strong this week. We have Saturn stationing retrograde in the sky. We have Mercury and Saturn coming into a square this week. This could be some delayed progress, delayed communication, an inability to sort of make things happen for one reason or another, issues with authority, sort of like blocks or limitations to the progress that we're so inspired to make right now. And we also, though, another thing to keep in mind, we also have a Sun-Neptune square that is building this week. Things are not as they seem right now. This is not the week to push forward. This is not the week for like deals and negotiations and like big decisions and stuff like that. We are missing a dimension of like clarity and perception this week. So it's in our best interest to just be observant, to sort of go with the flow of things. This is a period for making adjustments, for like nailing down details, and not for really jumping in and starting something new, pursuing something new, even though we really may be feeling that way to start this week. So all of that being said, let's get into our report of the day. Let's look at how this energy is coming together for today, Monday, in the context of this week, and what things might be looking like for us on the ground as we open our week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, June 12th, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. What we do on this channel is look at the astrology as it's coming through, microcosm level, on a daily, semi-weekly basis. In the context, though, of this current unfolding cosmic blueprint that is transitioning us into the age of Aquarius. It's like, how are these day-to-day aspects and transits and frequency-based adjustments that are happening now playing a larger role in this incoming transition into the age of Aquarius that we are very actively a part of right now? So that is what we look at. And also, if you guys want to stick with me until the end of this report, we're going to be looking at some tarot cards too. I always do a collective tarot reading in association with whatever astrology I'm reading for any given day, just to sort of look at things from an alternative perspective and maybe get some additional information coming through. So if you want to stick with me till the end, there may be some messages for you there as well. But let's start generally. I'm going to start generally by talking about just sort of this week as a whole, summarizing the energy this week, and then we will look more specifically at the day. But to start, overall, this is definitely going to be a week where we're going to want to stay more grounded. There is this huge burst of firepower that is coming through, blasting us off into the introduction of the week. But then, like I said, we have a very strong Saturn influence that is coming through, leading into our new moon in Gemini, which is happening on just after midnight on the 18th, on June 18th, and on June 17th, we have Saturn stationing retrograde in the sky. So we have our new moon coming up, our new cycle basically happening in correspondence with Saturn stationing retrograde, and leading into the Saturn station energy, we also have Mercury and Saturn coming into square in the sky as well. And we also, though, have Jupiter and Saturn forming a sextile, which is sort of the saving grace in this situation. I do think, actually, because of the Jupiter-Saturn sextile that is playing out simultaneously to Saturn stationing retrograde and Mercury squaring Saturn, like, this is a very positive indication that whatever adjustments or whatever reworking or whatever reformations or, reforming, restructuring, reworking, rebuilding, whatever rebuilding attempts are going on and the energy that Saturn retrograde is bringing us, they are likely to be very successful in the long term somehow. Like, things are being put back right in a way that is actually like divinely aligned and divinely ordained to write a process of growth somehow that can lead to like the development of true potential that, like I said, will sort of serve and last the test of time. With Jupiter in the sign of Taurus in a conjunction to the North Node, this is an expanded energy that is helping to realign things with what is necessary for proper and authentic growth and development. In the sextile, the supportive aspect to Saturn as he stations retrograde in the sign of Pisces. What illusion or what fantasy or what spiritual truth is either necessary to break down or is necessary to, be more adherent to in order to ensure the long-lasting success of the future that we are building and that we are creating and that we are realigning with now. So I do feel like this is actually going to be a highly productive Saturn retrograde process that we have going on. Saturn retrograde is always going to be very productive time and very productive energy. But I feel like, while there is always a very karmic nature and sort of like having to pay the piper and the karmic reckoning stuff coming up around when we have Saturn retrograde as well, having to take accountability perhaps for past misjudgments or errors. Saturn is the judge. There's a major theme of judgment coming through in this energy right now this week as well, sort of hearing the trumpets, the wake up call, and maybe making a sudden U-turn or having some type of an epiphany that causes us to stop in our tracks and maybe radically alter something that we're doing or some area of our life, or just take more seriously or be more responsible or feel more committed or dedicated to, or put more work or effort into, or face from a more mature mindset or perspective, a need to embrace a sense of duty and focused effort perhaps into something. And again, this Saturn retrograde process is directly related to some type of destiny that needs to be manifest destiny, right? Some type of the North Node, Jupiter conjunct the North Node, with Saturn retrograding in the sextile, whatever needs to be reworked or whatever we're restructuring. And this is in the sign of Pisces. So this could have a lot to do also with our belief systems or with our spiritual connection or where we hide from the truth of things in one way or another, and how that has been distorting or inverting our own process of growth in one way or another with the Jupiter, Taurus, Saturn, Pisces sextile going on. So, I'm just saying that I think this is going to be a very productive Saturn retrograde period for making adjustments that are very necessary, that maybe have been needed to be made for a long period of time to realign us with a better belief system or a greater adherence, like I said, to that spiritual truth, or just break down some type of an illusion somehow that really helps us feel more supported and more capable and more productive going forward. So, I do feel like this could be good. However, it is Saturn that we're dealing with regardless. And Saturn is, the heavier vibes, the more pessimistic vibes, and with Mercury also building into the square with Saturn this week, we could just be feeling a bit down on ourselves. Definitely could be seeing the glass is half empty. The pessimism could really be coloring our entire worldview. However, like I said, with the Jupiter North Node sextile, there is still this belief in the future. There is still this hope for the future. And even moving towards this energy, even as we get really close, and Mercury will come into the exact square to Saturn on, what day is it? On the 15th, and then Saturn's going to go retrograde on the 17th. We will have our new moon on the 18th, like I said, right after midnight Eastern time. And then on the 19th, we are going to have another exact activation that is really characterizing this week as well, which I am going to be talking about today also, which is the sun coming into the square with Neptune. That is another exact energy that we will be having on the 19th. So 15th, 17th, 18th, 19th. These are our really big sort of hit days this week. But even building into that, we start today, like I said, with the moon traveling the central degrees of the sign of Aries, forming a trine to Mars, who is currently at 14 degrees of the sign of Leo. This is lighting things up. This is firing things up. This is that real spark lit up underneath us. And then, as we move through Tuesday and Wednesday, the moon will leave the sign of Aries, enter the sign of Taurus. What's in the beginning of the sign of Taurus? Well, this is Jupiter. This is the North Node, also in the square to Venus. This is another energy that is really like giving us an expansive internal connection to this path ahead, and squaring Venus as well in a way that is like pleasant and enjoyable and that makes us feel good. Again, we're going to need to watch taking things over the top. This first 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to want to watch just getting a bit out of control in all of this fire energy. However, with the Mercury-Saturn square also building, there may be a bit of like self-discipline or self-control or, mental focus or mental conflict even. There could be some type of just like, it's this weird juxtaposition because like on one hand, we're really motivated to do something, but on the other hand, it's like we could be feeling very self-critical or dealing with this like judgment thing or dealing with these like karmic themes that are coming up or dealing with like an insecurity complex or like, am I good enough or can I really do it? Like that could really be sort of the balance that is going on in the energy to start this week, like feeling very inspired and very motivated and very passionate and very like, I want to do this. Like I know what I want to make things happen. But on the other hand, we may be like questioning our ability to like tangibly, practically have what it takes to like make the plans and, have like the resources and like do the actual groundwork, like physically, practically Saturn to do it. And so it could be bringing up feelings of self-worth issues, insecurity, like I said, all of that. So there could be sort of two sides of this playing out today. But again, with the Jupiter influence, it's like we can't lose our hope for the future. We're not like, we're still committed. We're still connected. Like we still see the bigger picture. Like we still are like following that carrot. Like we are trying to go down this yellow brick road that is helping us to, change something or make an improvement or do something different or live in a way that feels more natural, more organic and more authentic and more aligned with us and therefore more free to us in one way or another. We're also going to be having the moon coming into a conjunction with Uranus, and this is going to happen, and we'll talk more about this as we get through the week. This will happen in alignment with the Saturn Mercury square that we're building towards this week. So it'll be interesting to see how this energy comes together, how this energy plays out, but we definitely may feel sort of wanting to free ourselves to move forward in a new direction, very inspired, but something simultaneously limiting us, holding us back, restricting our movement, restricting our self-expression, our ability to communicate somehow, and just creating perhaps some internalized frustration that we are dealing with. But again, we're dealing with Pisces, Gemini squares. We've got the Mercury and the Sun in the sign of Gemini. We've got Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. These are the both planets that are creating these squares that we are building towards this week. We have to stay grounded. We can't get caught in an illusion. This is also sort of like manic depressive type of energy when we're dealing with Gemini and Pisces, especially with this fire energy as well, where you feel really high and really on top of the world one moment, but then in the next moment, just like totally wanting to like hide from and run away and avoid and, feeling like just very depressed and pessimistic about things. So we want to stay grounded. We want to not get caught in the illusions. We also don't want to attach to really whatever's going on over this next couple days with the Sun and square to Neptune, because really it is sort of like a show out there, you guys, with all this Leo energy and the Pisces energy and the Gemini energy. Like all of this is energy that projects. So the projections, the shows, the narratives, like they are very strong this week, but those are also the very things that are being broken down if they are not in alignment, Saturn, with integrity and with honesty and with truth and with like genuine wisdom and stuff like that. So, we got all of that, but things could definitely be a bit hard to believe this week. Communication delays, breakdowns, delays generally, like I said, hindrances to our forward progress. We don't want to push things this week though, you guys. If things are not falling into alignment for us this week, it's for a reason. You don't want to F around and find out. You know what I mean? Like, just surrender. We're in mutable energy. These are mutable squares. We need to be adaptable. We need to go with the flow of things. We don't want to force or push our agendas or whatever we want to happen in this energy. If you can wait on something, especially something having to do with like things going back and forth between people, a meeting, a conversation, some type of planning or something, you should. This is energy for working out practical details, getting things in order, getting things organized, like figuring things out, again, like making adjustments, finding errors, okay, and like clearing those out, figuring out better ways to think, strategize, and communicate. This is a very good way to use this energy. Mercury square Saturn. This is not a very outgoing, flamboyant energy, which again brings up the juxtaposition that we have going on right now, because Mars and Venus and Leo, this is a very flamboyant, outgoing energy. So there could sort of be this push and pull going on this week between like our need to be out and be charismatic and to be putting on a show somehow, and simultaneously this sense of like insecurity or self-criticism or self-doubt, or, you know, needing to figure out maybe like a better way of doing something that kind of is pulling on us on another side of things. But strategizing, very supported in this energy again, and like finding solutions, figuring things out, fine-tooth combing things, being receptive to criticism in a way that is constructive, okay? And again, like there is this major theme of like judgments, making judgments, coming to conclusions, but we can't trust everything that we're thinking this week as well, or everything that we're seeing, or everything that is, again, being projected to us or appearing for us somehow with this Sun square Neptune energy that is building also. However, again, this new moon in Sagittarius, or new moon in Gemini that's going to be happening, is an exact opposition to the galactic center. So illusions breaking down in some big ways, especially as we get through the weekend. But reality could be stranger than fiction, okay? That's just a good way to put it. That's what this energy could be bringing. We need to ask ourselves, what is not working for us and why is it not working? Try to like get to the root of some of our own issues this week. And we want to watch falling into some type of like delusionally pessimistic state, or just delusional state, sort of like period, the end. Again, staying grounded, doing our best to stay grounded and not get caught up in like the drama or the gossip. Those are other things. Gossip, drama, slander, like all of that with Sun square Neptune, Mercury square Saturn, Pisces, and Gemini. These could be big things this week. It is possible that things could be looking quite bleak with the square between Mercury and Saturn, gloomy, never changing, just like constantly enduring and facing the same thing over and over again, like never working out in our favor, just like doomed to failure somehow as we go through this week. But deep inside, again, I feel like we really do know that it's going to be okay, that things are going to work out for us somehow, that there is a positive supportive influence that has our back somehow, and we need to stay there, because this Jupiter influence, like I said, really is from the sextile from Jupiter in Taurus with the North Node to Saturn in the sign of Pisces while he goes retrograde. Like, this is helping us, and we need to remember that despite how things appear on the surface throughout the course of this week, we do not want to attach to or surrender to or like these negative perceptions that could be arising, or to lose hope, even if we feel like this is like actually factually the case, and we sort of just need to face it. Like, we just need to face the reality that we're just never going to be good enough, or this is just never going to work out. It might really feel like that, but I promise you it's not. It's not the reality. There's a huge distortion. Whenever we have the Sun in a square to Neptune, something is distorted in our perception of what is just like the nature of our reality, especially also with the square from Neptune to Saturn going on simultaneously in these same signs. So we just, if you're dealing with that, like, the best way to handle it is to just acknowledge that, you know, the reality that is being projected, or the reality that is being enhanced right now, or the version of the reality that we are encountering or experiencing that making us feel like that makes us feel like that, you know, it is real, but it's just that we happen to be perceiving the frequency that is associated with those experiences more strongly right now. So it feels much more all-encompassing and much more like solidified, as if that is all there is, as opposed to just being sort of like one side of the story that is being amplified or enhanced, emphasized with all the Saturn influence going on, especially in the sign of Pisces too. Like, this is also an avoidant energy. Like, this could be feeling just like isolated or alone, or like unable to connect, just sort of like cast out, like I'll never be good enough again, like very self-critical and stuff like that. Or also could be bringing up, you know, crises of faith, also like a breakdown in our sense of like spiritual connection and stuff like that when we have Saturn stationing retrograde. But it's for the purpose, like I said, of building a new foundation that is so much more solid, that is so much more sturdy, enduring, and will be a successful force in our lives going forward. So serious illusions, you guys, are breaking down this week. Hard to pinpoint what's actually happening though. Conflict between story and narrative and information and the facts. This is also like lies and truth coming up against each other. This could be, we want to tell the truth. We want to tell the truth. There could definitely be a huge sort of like compulsion to be dishonest about things, or to be manipulative, or try to project something that is not exactly accurate. With Saturn about to station retrograde and Saturn a primary planet in this dynamic playing out this week, that is not supported. Lies and deception, we're not really gonna get away with stuff like that right now, and it is just not a good time to try to get away with anything generally. Not a great week for anything seriously also to be initiated. We are closing out a lunar cycle right now. Mercury is squaring Saturn, and the sun is squaring Neptune, mutable signs of Saturn stations. This is corrective energy. This is not initiative energy. We are not initiating things in this energy. We are making corrections that we feel that we need to make right now. Like, I bet, you know, a lot of people are going to be dealing with things sort of like pulling on their conscious, or like just becoming so apparent in their experience right now, in terms of, you know, it could even just be small changes also to like schedules and routines, or the way that we're working, you know, the way that like our basic flow of life goes, or our levels of self-discipline as well. Or again, like, people are going to start being more structured, more dedicated, more committed, also more responsible about, you know, being in alignment with their moral compass, essentially, and also being in alignment with their spiritual truths, because that is what the karmic lessons are right now, and that is what people are going to come to realize is creating an easier path forward. It's like we're going to realize over the Saturn retrograde period, when we follow the rules of our higher selves, when we follow the rules in alignment with our spiritual connection and those higher truths, that is when our path is cleared, essentially, and things move forward for us with a lot less resistance and a lot more just like good fortune that is coming our way. And also, you know, Saturn is the Lord of time, is the Lord of karma. Things from the past could also be coming up right now that are having some type of, that could be causing, you know, this resistance or this blockage. Or it's more like, it's like with the Jupiter North Node conjunction right now, it's like we're geared towards the future. We want to move forward, but right now we may just have to deal with some things from the past, some feelings from the past, some past belief systems, some past attitudes that need to be adjusted in order for us to move forward in a less restricted, just more streamlined flow way that does provide that successful path forward. So there's all that. We also have Venus and Mars coming into conjunction this week as well. People are talking their best game right now. Things might honestly, especially in romantic relationships or connections with others, seem like an absolute dream or fantasy come to life. Everything you've ever wanted in the moment. This is a highly illusionary energy though, shining our brightest light, but not necessarily presenting our true realistic selves on a practical level. What you see is not what you get, okay, in this energy. Passions in the moment awesome, but without any like long-term stay, long-term follow through. This is one of those type of energies where we just need to take the moment and have fun and like take it for what it is without any expectation on like what it will be or what it could become in the future. Do not enjoy it, but don't attach or place expectations on it. This is also sort of rule breaking energy that we have going on with the square Mercury Saturn energy and the Neptune Sun square. It is very important, and I'm saying it again, to make smart choices right now, to make good decisions, to put our past wisdom into action and to do the right thing. Honesty is the best policy always, but this week specifically with Saturn stationing retrograde and Mercury and Saturn in the square and the Sun and Neptune in the square, slow and steady wins the race this week. Again, we're not pushing, we're not forcing. We're letting things flow in the way that they're unfolding right now, and we're adjusting when there's a mistake that happens. We're making a correction, we're getting back on track, but we're not like emotionally attaching to any type of victim situation that could be coming to us or could be pulling at us this week. Things are not as they seem, and they are certainly not as bad as they seem if they do seem to be taking sort of a negative turn this week. We are in this process of gaining a greater level of understanding, a greater level of truth that is going to propel us forward in the direction that we seek, but in a way that is more stable, more enduring, more solid, okay? And that can really like help us thrive going forward. Jupiter, Taurus, conjunct the North Node. Now, specifically, you know, for today, Friday, as I said, this very high energy, we do have an Aries moon, which is ruled by Mars, who is in the sign of Leo, coming into a conjunction with the Black Moon, might I say, and this is also going to be something that we need to talk about. But this is just this firepower energy, very hot, heated energy. People really may be very seductive energy as well, like people really pursuing their passions, we'll put it that way. Strong ego also, people like could be really kind of acting out, showing out in this energy, feeling very alive, ready to seize the day and like make our mark on the world. That is definitely like what this vibe could be bringing. Vigorous, vital, powerful life force energy, lots of inspired, motivated energy to take action as we are beginning this week. Firepower, enthusiastic, inspired, alive, hot, fiery emotions, driving action. Of course, also though, if we are dealing with Mars, if we are dealing with all of this firepower energy, anger, rage, unleashed, okay, possibility for that I've triggered, especially with Mars and the Black Moon coming into conjunction. Over this next, I would say specifically this next week, week and a half or so, ego wounds being triggered, people feeling not seen, or people feeling like their star is not shining bright enough, or they're not getting the recognition or the appreciation or the love or the power that they deserve, triggering some ego wounds. Like this could be explosive, especially in the energy on Monday with the trine from the moon in Aries to the Mars Black Moon conjunction in the sign of Venus. So this is definitely another dimension of things, and we don't want to be starting unnecessary fights and conflicts in this energy, because of course that is contradictory to the lesson plan right now in the context, right? What do we do on this channel? We talk about in the context of our transition into the age of Aquarius. This is a process of activating destiny, essentially. How do we do that? It's self-actualization. It's the hero's journey. It's wisdom through experience. It's elevating our frequency to match and resonate with these incoming frequencies. And one by one, we actually create the age of Aquarius through recalibrating in association with these enhanced frequencies coming through on the planet. Well, if we're seeking out drama, if we're seeking out revenge, if we're seeking out, you know, platform and ways to satisfy our ego at any essentially cost to our soul, we are working against that process. We are working against that process right now. That is when we're going to be dealing most specifically with these Saturn issues, and that is when we are actually setting ourselves up for some much more difficult experiences moving forward. So we want to do our best, you know, to stay out of emotional responses as a result of sudden triggers. You know, if we are getting triggered in some type of way about something, like, that's fine. You know, that is happening so that we can gain an awareness of what is happening, so that we can say, oh, okay, like, that hurt, like, I clearly have an issue there. But it's about, like, I have an issue there. It's not about, like, what you did to make me feel that way. Okay, it's helping us to understand that we have something there, something unhealed within us that we need to take the time to address. And if that means, you know, going inside and being more isolated and going through some of these, you know, some of this healing and doing some of this shadow work, like, that's what is required. But it's not for the purpose of us, you know, taking that, projecting it outwards, and involving ourselves in the perpetuation of drama and these lower frequency vibes that we are actually universe trying to pull us out of right now. So there is that end of the spectrum of things that could definitely be coming through. But, you know, again, Jupiter and the North Node in the sign of Taurus, Uranus also in the sign of Taurus right now. This is all about this radical awakening that needs to happen in regards to our own authentic truth, to our own authentic potential, to our own true passions, and to what, you know, we really need to discover that value that exists within us, and in such a way that we can pursue it and cultivate it and embrace it and, you know, build our lives around it. And as we do that, universe will bring to us the people, the relationships, the circumstances, the partners, like, all of that will enhance our lives tremendously, because they will be a true reflection of who we really are, instead of a inverted, inorganic reflection of the disassociation and disconnection with our true selves that a lot of us have lived our lives embodying. And which is a lot of the reason why, you know, so many people have such a hard time feeling happy and feeling fulfilled and feeling connected and feeling supported, you know, in their current circumstances, which is also why there's so much breakdown happening right now, as we are, again, like, cosmically being pulled towards these new frequencies. But we can't make those shifts unless we go through these experiences that help us come to the point where we are ready to embrace and resonate with that. So, as above, so below, you guys, microcosm, macrocosm, and here we are today, about to go through a period of enhanced lessons about adhering to our moral compass and our higher selves, and constructing a new belief system that supports that, because that is the belief system that will truly support our growth along those very positive and fulfilling lines going forward through this process. So that's basically what I'm going to say for the energy that is coming through this week. This is a past reckoning week. There could definitely be things from the past. We could also, with a Mercury-Saturn square, we could find ourselves caught up in past grievances, or like memories of the past where we wish we would have done something different. There could be just, again, like some type of like mentalized conflict going on between, or maybe things that we've avoided, things that we haven't faced, that we feel like we need to face now. All of this type of stuff. But it's, again, this is helping us to mature and to evolve and to become more responsible in a way that is actually very productive to our growth, and a process of helping us to create a much more fulfilling life going forward. So all good stuff, you guys. We want to make sure that we don't sort of really take it over the top in the beginning of the week, and then maybe have to face some of the not so good consequences, maybe, of some reckless choices or decisions or actions or behaviors that we maybe took in all of this fire energy. We don't want to be reckless. Smart choices, good decisions, you guys. Choices and decisions. This is ruled by Mercury. Being smart, being deliberate, being strategic, being calculated, okay? This is all ruled by Saturn. With these two planets in the square, progress comes through smart, slow, well thought out, deliberate choices, not through allowing like our passions to spontaneously spur us into some type of reckless action. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna say this week, or about the energy this week, about the energy for today. We also have Jupiter this week and today, 6 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a bridge being built across a high, narrow gorge. Again, like connecting the past and the future this week. We may be kind of like looking down or going over some of the more difficult things from the past, or that we've had to navigate, or that we've had to get through, but this is bridging us. Like, this is helping us. This is supporting us in our forward movement. We've also got Saturn at 8 degrees of Pisces right now, a girl blowing a bugle. I think it's quite ironic with Saturn actually retrograding at that degree, because it's like all of heaven and earth knowing, you know, this is the judgment call, this is the wake up call, you know, call to attention. Like, are we doing the right thing? Are we in alignment with what we know we should be doing? Is there a spiritual higher truth that is guiding our actions? Are we facing the things that we need to face, or are we hiding from and avoiding and like abandoning the responsibilities that we are feeling called towards at this point in time? And that being said, it's so interesting because our tarot card, we only got one tarot card coming out of the deck today, you guys, and what was it? It was the Judgment card, which reminds me of the girl blowing the bugle, which reminds me, you know, of a Saturn retrograde process. This is also a card of karmic reckoning. This is also a card of an awakening, hearing the trumpets, right? Like getting the wake-up call, seeing the truth, which is also representative of a revival and of a rebirth as a result of some type of an adjustment or some type of epiphany or some type of elevated perspective that changes things for us and brings us back to life, sets things right, puts things right in some type of way. So waking up from a state that was not contributing to something that was productive and beneficial to us, reversing that, okay, and accepting it, accepting the judgment, accepting the lesson, okay, and choosing to move forward, implementing this new understanding that's come to us. On the back of the deck, we have the Page of Cups, and this to me is about a message coming through, receiving a message, accepting something, allowing our cup to receive something. So I feel like this is a very clear indication this week that is coming through that we need to be receptive to the judgment call, or to what we come to understand, or to the higher truth that we align with this week. You know, under that, on the back of the deck, it's interesting. We have the World, we have the Two of Cups, we have the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Ace of Pentacles, we have Justice, like, and they were all in reverse. So it's like, in order for all of this forward, in order for these cycles to end, in order for this new cycle to begin, in order for the scales to be rebalanced, in order for us to begin this new creative pursuit, in order for us to attract the soulmate relationship vibes that really resonate with the authentic truth of ourselves that we are realigning with right now, like there is a need this week to hear the trumpet, the girl blowing the bugle, the position actually of Saturn as he's stationing retrograde according to the Sabian symbols, and to receive that, to take it into our cup, to take it into our vessel, and to allow ourselves to benefit from it, to allow ourselves to grow, to allow ourselves to be re-inspired, to allow ourselves to be uplifted, to allow ourselves to come back to life as a result of whatever guidance or understanding or higher truth or, you know, karmic reckoning that we are coming to within ourselves now, and to implement that wisdom moving forward. We're hearing the call and we are taking the judgment, taking the guidance this week, because that is what is leading to our ability to truly move forward in alignment with the trajectory that we want right now, this authentic growth in alignment with our true potential, activating destiny, soul truth, all these Age of Aquarius necessary themes that we've got to get in alignment with. It has everything to do, it seems like, with our ability to pass the test and to heed the wisdom, heed the lessons. So that's what I've got to say in terms of the tarot cards that came through for today, in terms of the astrology. Let's grab one more card now. God, Spirit, Universe, what is a piece of advice or guidance that we could really use as we're going through this energy? What does it benefit us to keep in mind? What should we sort of use as our mantra this week? What is it that we need to know? We got one card coming out right now, but it's the Yes card. So I am going to keep shuffling. So yes to all of that. Yes to the judgment. Yes to the higher understanding. If you're pondering on a question right now, the answer to that might be yes as well. And here is our actual card. You will be guided. Exactly. We're not pushing things. We're not forcing things. We're letting things sort of fall into place. We've got this judgment, right? The girl blowing the bugle. Look at, there's literally like an angel in heaven that comes out of the sky with this big trumpet, and you know, we're seeing it, we're hearing it, we're waking up to it. This is definite guidance from above. Also with Jupiter right now conjunct the North Node, that is also like divine alignment, divine timing that is blessing us with this potential growth for the future. So you will be guided, sent his angel to show the things which shortly must be done. Again, judgment card reference. Shortly, you will be shown the direction you should take. The way will open up for you to move forward. Seize the opportunities that come to you. Know you are being divinely guided. Listen to the voice within for guidance. And remember, you guys, this week, we are also moving towards the new moon in Gemini, which, like I said, is going to be happening on the 18th, and it is in an opposition to the galactic center. Okay? So we're going to get some type of higher understanding about something that, like exactly like this card says, is going to help us in our progress moving forward. But we don't want to push, we don't want to rush, we don't want to force it to start this week. Okay, so that's what I have to say today, you guys. A message from the stars, a message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think they would like this type of content as well. Leave me comments. I appreciate your comments. So grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. If you are having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about, let me know in the description box. Let me know in the comment section below. I really love reading you guys' comments, and I'm super grateful for your feedback. It really means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much. Also, I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, Instagram, some other social medias in my description box below if that is your thing. And come back with me later this week, you guys. My next video is probably going to be out on either Wednesday or Thursday, and we are going to be talking more about this Mercury square Saturn energy that we have going on, and also Saturn retrograde energy as we move towards the new moon in the sign of Gemini on the 18th. So I will be here, you guys. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you then. Have a beautiful opening to your week, and until next time, bye guys.